Yo, yo, yo. Give me a second here, guys. I know it's been quite a while since we've been live here on Yankees Out, and I just want to make sure we're all good to go on my end before I start yapping off about this Marcus Stroman deal. And I got some good things to say. Some negative things as well, but we'll get into all of it here. Let's see. Are we live? Or did I set it to private this stream? I hope so. Hold on here. 1 second, guys. Oh, yeah. Alrighty. We live? All right, let me cue my intro music real quick. This is something new. I want to check it out. Try it out. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Yankees Avenue Live. Once again, I know it's been a minute since we've been on here, and I'll have a time to explain a little bit more in detail what went down. Long story short, I got copyright claimed by the Japanese network for when I ran Yamamoto highlights on a stream, and they put a copyright strike on my channel. That had me banned from going live for about a week. And then, the holidays, Burger King food poisoned me. A lot has went down. But what we're here tonight to talk about is the obvious thing, and that is what you're seeing on the screen, what I'm sure you're all quite well aware of by now, and that is the Yankees have signed Marcus Stroman to a 2-year, $37 million deal. Now, there's a vesting option for 2026 as well. We don't have the exact details just yet on what would trigger that vesting option, at least that I have seen. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled to any more updates, but we're going to break this down, and, we'll get into the most obvious thing, which is that the Yankees and Stroman have clearly put their differences aside. Now, for those who maybe have been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, this is going back 4 or 5 years, I'll run through it real quick for you while we run, let's put up some Stroman highlights here for you guys to check out. But real quick to get us all recapped on the beef, in 2019, the Yankees needed a starting pitcher, and Marcus Stroman was one of what was considered the best guys available in that 2019 trade deadline. And long story short, it was kind of like the precursor to the Jordan Montgomery situation, where Brian Cashman said Marcus Stroman wouldn't have an impact in October. He would be pitching out of the bullpen. That set Stroman off, and ever since then, he has publicly bashed the Yankees on Twitter, Brian Cashman himself on Twitter, the Yankee fan base. He has half of us blocked, has me blocked, has Yankees Avenue on Instagram blocked. So there's been quite a long history of beef between these two sides. But yeah, man, they clearly have put those differences aside because a 2-year, $37 million deal, which right off the bat, I'll talk about that. And how's everybody doing? I'm sorry, I don't want to ignore everybody in the chat right here because I haven't seen in a while. It is great to see you all. How's my audio doing, by the way? I hope we're all, I'm a little rusty on the technical side of things, I'm sure. But just let me know in the chat for those who are here how we're doing on that end. Is the audio good? Picture good? Hopefully. But Marcus Stroman, the pitcher, I will say $37 million, 18.5 average annual value. For the pitcher that he is, Marcus Stroman, the pitcher, that's a pretty solid, good deal. I don't have an issue with the contract, and I don't have an issue with all the shit and the history that we have with him. Fine, I'll get over that, no problem. I do think he should issue an apology, and I sincerely mean that. I think Marcus Stroman owes Yankee fans an apology. If we don't get it, it's fine, I'll get over it. Ultimately, all I care about is that, we bring in players that help us win. I don't care if, you could have a fucking serial killer, put him in pinstripes, and I'll root for him. Don't get me wrong, guys. But what concerns me about Stroman is that if you look at this rotation, that this is what we're looking at for 2024. This is the Yankees' projected rotation. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Marcus Stroman, Nestor Cortez, and Clark Schmidt. I'm sorry, man. You have Cole, Stroman, and Schmidt as the only guys that aren't question marks, which I guess the wording of that is a little, because that's 3 out of 5. All right, nice. But man, unless the Yankees do still go out and get a Blake Snell, or Jordan Montgomery, or make a trade for Dylan Cease, Corbin Burns, which I don't really think that's going to happen. Maybe they can get Bieber. I don't know. But unless they do one of those things, you have to. It is mandatory that you get a much improved, a much better season out of Carlos Rodon. And you don't know where you're going to get a Nestor Cortez either, coming off a shoulder injury. You got to hope that he's healthy. I'm still very concerned about this rotation is kind of my point here, guys. And I came around to Stroman a couple days ago. Because remember, the initial report on him was that he was interested, the Yankees were. And that made total sense. It's like, all right, yeah, fuck you, man. Like, you burned your bridges. Like, you made your bed, now you got to lie in it. Obviously, that's no longer the case. And since then, I've kind of come around on him. I'm for Marcus Stroman. I'm glad we signed him to this pretty solid deal. But I'm very nervous that it now takes us out of getting Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Shane Bieber, Dylan Cease. I don't really think Dylan Cease was going to happen because they're asking for like Spencer Jones to headline that package. Corbin Burns, I think the Brewers are probably going to hold on to him till the deadline. And probably the same deal with Shane Bieber. The options were not great. Make no mistake, I'm not getting picky out here. But ultimately, when you look at the options, the best available guy was Blake Snell. I was really starting to hope that the Yankees would go out, and I don't want to say offer him $200 million because maybe it wouldn't take that much in the end. And negotiating is part of this whole business. I get it, but I just hope signing Marcus Stroman doesn't take us out of the running for getting somebody else. Because if it does, this rotation is probably one of the weaker ones we've had in a few years. And by a few years, I would say probably going back to 2021, which, 2021, what do we have? It was Cole, Corey Kluber, Jameson Taillon fresh off Tommy John. You had Jordan Montgomery still kind of fresh off Tommy John. That was a questionable year for sure. But, man, you better hope you get something good out of Carlos Rodon. You better hope. Nestor Cortez, he concerns me that his shoulder's about to fall off. If not, if he's healthy, I believe in him. Clark Schmidt, he had a promising year last year, made 30 starts, but in the end, he was a 4.6 ERA guy. You guys know I'm not some pessimistic fan. I'm usually on the optimistic side of things, but I'm not in love with this deal. I'm not in love with it. I like it. I'm just concerned that this is the offseason, if that makes sense. I'm nervous that this is, I don't want to say a wrap on the 2023 to 2024 winter, but I got a bad feeling it might just be this and then maybe Jordan Hicks, they signed to like a 4-year deal, which that would be all for. But you really needed to go out and get, I don't want to say a big dog for the starting rotation because I don't necessarily consider Snell to even be that. But he was certainly the best option available. He certainly was. How are you guys feeling about this? I feel like I've kind of ignored the chat just a little bit so far because I'm a little bit hyped up talking about this. But I missed you all a lot. And now I got my boys from... Shout out Verizon and Sisaki. My old coworkers are in here messing with me. Speaking of, some of you are talking about Trevor Bauer. That's just not going to happen. I would be down for Trevor Bauer if he weren't such a... and I'm not talking about anything to do with the legal shit, but like even before that were a thing, he was kind of a head case. But we're bringing in head cases left and right, so who am I to say anything bad about him? Let's see. Yeah, man. And if you look at his stats... Once again, Stroman, the pitcher, I can get with it. Ground ball rate, great. Right around a career average of like 54, 55%. And this past year, he was really good up until right around the second half. He had I think he may have been an all-star in the first half, or if not, it was a damn good first half that he had. Kind of fell off along with some injuries, but you can at least bank on, you're probably going to get 25 starts minimum at a Stroman with a sub-4 ERA, probably closer to like the 3.5 range. That is well worth $18.5 million. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little bit, I have an uneasy feeling inside. I really do. That this might be it. And a lot of times we can come off like spoiled Yankee fans, but coming off the high of Juan Soto, this being the move that follows Juan Soto, along with being the pivot from Yamamoto, if that's what this is, if it's not, once again, I cannot emphasize that enough. If this is a supplemental move where Stroman ends up being your number 4 starter and they still go out and get a Blake Snell, which the more and more I talk about it, I just don't see it happening. But if you can push this to where Marcus Stroman is your 4, or it concerns me with Nestor, man. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Nestor does concern me. I feel like going into 2024, banking on Nestor Cortez giving you 25 starts, a healthy 25 starts is a big ask, man. A big ask. So ideally, under my scenario would be, and let's just say we're living in, maybe this is La La Land now, I don't know. But say they went out and got Snell in addition to Stroman, and you're looking at a rotation of Cole, Rodon, Cole, Snell, Stroman, Rodon, Clark/Nestor competing for the fifth job. And I don't want to say competing because injuries are going to happen. I mean, sooner than we freaking know it, probably before the end of spring training, somebody would get hurt. Probably Rodon. Knock on wood. Somebody would get hurt. And you bet your ass, even if Nestor Cortez or Clark weren't starting this season, technically in the rotation, they'll still make at least 25 starts the way baseball works. So I would just much rather have kind of the insurance policy of Clark Schmidt and Nestor Cortez rather than having to rely on them, one of them, or more so Nestor, to make 30 starts this year. I just think it's risky. And we also heard today they did bring back Luke Weaver, who showed some success in 3 starts with the Yankees in September. Depth signings are good. And, we do have some depth, like Luis Heel will be coming back from Tommy John surgery. He should be ready to go at some point this year. There's... Crap, I'd honestly have to refresh my mind on who's next after these guys. But all I'm saying is, unless we make another move, we better hope somebody doesn't have a significant injury to where they're out like 2 to 3 months. And if you look at playoffs, man, God, it all just comes back to Rodon. This all just puts so much pressure on Rodon, which there already was. I mean, year 2 of a 6-year, $162 million deal that he was absolutely brutal in the first year. Pressure no matter what. But now, if Stroman's all you're doing, all you're adding to the starting staff, you need a huge year out of Rodon. And I'm not just talking about like sub 4 and improvement compared to what he was last year, which obviously was just god awful. We got to get out of Rodon what we expected to get out of him in 2023, like entering the season. I'm talking sub 3 ERA. Because if not, it's just going to be Cole and the rest of them. And once again, I like Stroman. Stroman's solid. Stroman is solid, but I would much rather him be the number 4. Tom F., appreciate the $1.99 donation, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you. He says, should they do a 6-man rotation to start the year? Well, right now, dude, there's not a 6 guy to do that with. Now, even if there were, I don't really think that should be the case. Because Cole isn't going to want to pitch every 6th day. He'll want to pitch every 5th. But I just much rather go into the year with Nestor and Clark. I don't want to say competing, but going back to the point I made earlier, even if Nestor or Clark wasn't necessarily in the rotation to start out the 24 season, within a month, probably by opening day, somebody's going to get hurt. And if not by opening day, by the end of April, a starter's going to get hurt, and whoever's not in that rotation to begin the season will still end up making 20-plus starts. I think Nestor's a concern. I do. But as for the the Stroman signing, I'm gonna be patient. I just hope this isn't it. So that's kind of my take. It's a nice deal, especially the terms itself. 2 years, $37 million. That's a nice contract. Marcus Stroman is a nice pitcher, and nothing to do, for the most part, with our troubled history, all the bullshit he said to us in the past on Twitter, whether it's to me personally. I can get over that. That's fine. I look at him as a nice number 4, maybe a number 3 starter at best at this point in his career. Is this it for the Yankees? Is this your follow-up move after Juan Soto? Is this your pivot to Yoshinobu Yamamoto? If it is, I'm not going to lie. I'll be in a different place than I usually am on these streams or just in general when you guys hear from me. On slightly the pessimistic side of things. I won't be as happy as I initially thought I would be when this offseason started with Juan Soto. But in itself, 2 years, $37 million, Marcus Stroman, that's a nice deal. And I guess we just got to be patient. Let me see. I just want to check on Twitter real quick, and I want to see what you guys are saying too. Has anybody seen any reports regarding what the Yankees are going to do next? Whether this has taken them out of the running on anybody else, or I'm looking for a tweet. Oh, just because the Yankees signed Marcus Stroman doesn't mean they're out of the running for Blake Snell or out of the running for a trade for Shane Bieber. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, speak of the devil, Joel Sherman said this. Joel Sherman said, I do not think this precludes the Yankees from still trying to trade for Cease or sign another free agent like Snell if prices fall. The Yankees felt they had to get on the board with another veteran starter and did so with Stroman. If that's the game plan here, I'm totally cool with that. Totally cool with that. If that was just our rotation is in such bad shape that we just got to get something under our belt and let's just lock up Stroman and then go forward, still bargaining for Blake Snell or trying to make a trade for Shane Bieber, fine. Great. That is amazing, actually. Then I'll be like hyped about this deal. That's good to hear. Joel Sherman is in the know. Of course, for those who don't know, Joel Sherman of the New York Post, he's legit. He knows his stuff. He's saying that he doesn't think at least this precludes the Yankees from still trying to trade for Cease or getting another free agent. Yeah, so Matthew Cockerill, I hope I'm saying your name right, bro, says, I heard we offered Blake Snell $150 million. That was from a one of those, like, I hope this doesn't come off the wrong way, like one of those like foreign reporters, like that Hector Gomez guy, not the exact same situation, but of that same ilk. Take it with a grain of salt, but I actually wouldn't be surprised if that's true, that the Yankees are offering him like right around 150 over 5 years, which would be a great contract. If they can get him on that, praise to the heavens. I don't think it would ever happen. Snell's looking more so towards 200 is what we're hearing. Maybe they can meet in the middle. One thing we are hearing about Snell's market is that it's not that deep. It's the Angels and the Giants. Granted, he is the Cy Young winner, so I mean, I'm sure other teams will appear if it gets, if it's such like a obvious contract to sign for Snell, like it's such a low deal, more suitors will get involved. But as of right now, all I've heard is that it's the Angels and the Giants. I don't want to like be that punk Yankee fan that says this, but like maybe he'll fall into our lap. And if that's the case, once again, I'll be hyped. Nicholas Mazzola says, I want Stroman fired. Yeah, man, I'm curious. Can I even do a poll in here? Yeah, let's start a poll. Cool. Let me start a poll. And yo, Faye, I see you saying something. I'm gonna check that out in a second. I just want to write up this poll just to get your guys' like overall thoughts. Happy about signing Stroman. Actually, no, that makes no sense. Sorry. I'm like, once it gets past 9 o'clock, I get like illiterate. It's weird. Happy with the Stroman signing? Question mark. Yes or no? Alrighty. I just put a poll in here. So if you guys could vote on that, let me know so I kind of get a grasp where you guys are at. Who moves out of the rotation if we get Snell? So, Feo, that's what I was saying before. I'm not sure if you just joined or not, but my logic is this, and it might be a little bit wonky to those that are big Nestor Cortez fans. I am as well. But I think it is very risky, a very big ask to go into, if you're going to go in with this starting rotation going to 2024, banking on trying to get, whether it's 30 starts or even 25, 20 starts at a Nestor Cortez, coming off a shoulder injury. It just concerns me. I'm sorry, it does. And with Rodon, while I expect him to bounce back, I don't really got to go into the whole injury history there. I think if you could go into the season, this would just be much more ideal. You go into the season still having Snell, or forget Snell, another notable name starting pitcher in addition to Stroman, and you have Nestor go into the year as your 6. But what that would mean is the second somebody gets hurt, he obviously plugs in, and we all know that's going to happen. So my point was that even if, okay, like what are we better off doing? Having Nestor a part of the rotation or going into the season, banking him making 25, 30 starts, or going to the season with him as not necessarily an insurance policy, but the second somebody gets hurt, which you know is going to happen, he plugs into the rotation and is kind of like a, to be honest, a security blanket. That's my hot take, I guess, going into the year. I'm very nervous about Nestor. That's really just what it comes down to. That's honestly just what it is. Yeah. Feo, no, I hear what you're saying, man. Then I would just, I mean, it would probably be Nestor then, to be honest. Probably. But I hear your point that the Yankees probably wouldn't want to do that. But that would be the case really with anybody if they were to add a starter. Somebody would have to go. And if you got Snell and you kept in Nestor, that would be 3 lefties. I don't know. No, it definitely is messy. Like, you bring up a good point. But I would probably take out Clark, but I would take out Nestor, I'm saying. That's true. Replacing them with somebody who's openly attacked the team. No, that's fair. And that's why the Stroman thing is messy, man. No, it really, really is. But that I can get over as a fan. As a fan, I can get over that. But I was surprised to see the Yankees, to see them do this, to be honest. Why would we pay Snell big money if we weren't ready to keep bidding for Yamamoto? Feels like Stroman making it more likely we trade for a guy like Cease, Burns, or Bieber. I don't think Cease or Burns is going to happen. I think it's going to cost too much. Bieber, I was getting my hopes up for for a little while, but I could see the Guardians holding on to him till the deadline too. Sergio Valentin says, this dude is a nutcase that couldn't handle the Mets. Why not Monty? He would have proved himself here. I mean, Monty's about to get hella overpaid in my opinion. Like, he'll probably get at least $160 million. The terms on the Stroman deal are good. I'm not upset with the contract. And by the way, for those in here, if you could do me a favor and leave a like on the video, helps me out a ton. Thank you very much. Yeah, a point a lot of people brought up is, yo, you were offering $325 for Yamamoto. Why not just, offer the $200 for Snell, along with, say, getting Monty, or like, if you combine Stroman and Snell, that's still way less than you're going to offer Yamamoto. It's a fair point. You also just don't want to pay guys just to pay them. Like, I'm not saying like, yo, Snell wants $200 million, go out and give him to him right now, but I really do hope the Yankees can stay in that market, because just looking at this rotation, man, it has me feeling something I don't usually feel, which is a little bit pessimistic. If everybody's healthy, all right, word, but even going to the playoffs, I mean, it all really relies on Rodon, a big bounce back from Rodon. Yo, Justin, hop off my back, bro. That's my old coworker from Verizon trying to troll about, he always talks about Judge and steroids. Good to see you, buddy. All right, FJ says, Bauer still has open criminal investigations. He isn't worth the headache. Yeah, Plouffe and Rose brought up a good point the other day about, on Baseball Today, that until the ongoing legal investigations are solved, no team will probably touch him. Once that's all done and taken care of, it's more of a conversation. But even before that, like, I remember going back to when Bauer was initially a free agent. Like, it was a talk of conversation then about him being like kind of a clubhouse cancer. So, and even him, man, like, Bauer's along the lines of Stroman. Like, it's not like he wowed anybody. It's not like he wowed anybody in Japan. He had like a 2.7, which is nice. But I'd rather Stroman over Bauer anyways. Yeah. I hear you, man. I don't have much hope about still getting Snell, but it would be ideal. Feo brings up a good point, though. Like, that is something to consider, that, like, the optics of it, bringing in Stroman, and then if it came down to it to where everybody was healthy, you had to tell, like, Nestor, you're not in the rotation. Is that hard to do? Yes. But dude made 12 starts last year, or like 8 starts, and he had an ERA over 5. Feo, I honestly, dude, if it weren't for Stroman being a punk, it'd be so much easier to answer that question. But it's a good point you bring up about, like, if Nestor was to get like temporarily booted from the rotation to begin the season for like Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, that's one thing. But like, it does make it a little bit messier that like a fan favorite in Nestor, you'd be bouncing for Stroman. But that's kind of the situation we're in now, I guess, with the Yankees getting him. And man, I really didn't see this coming. A few days ago, like I was hyped actually when the Yankees were like, thanks but no thanks. When Stroman, we got the report that the Yankees were, or the Stroman was interested, but the Yankees weren't. I was like, yo, word. Attaway Yankees, but obviously that wasn't true. Rishi Shah says, Bowden just tweeted the Yankees are focusing on relief pitchers now. Yeah, I could see that. I'd probably make an exception to the rule that I usually don't like signing free agent relievers to like big money deals with, Aroldis Chapman in my head, Zach Britton, which isn't even anything to do with effectiveness. I would feel that way even if, Chapman was better towards the end. Paying relievers big time money is tough. However, Jordan Hicks, the deal I saw he might get would be like 4 years, $40 million. At 27 years old, dude throws gas. He was nasty for Toronto down the stretch. I would do that deal for Jordan Hicks. $10 million a year for 4 years, 27 years old. I would do that deal. But still, man, Justin, I love you too. I do. I guess it's just like the fan of me right now that, like, once again, coming off the hype of Soto and then thinking you might get Yamamoto, the pivot to that, if it's just Stroman and Hicks, that will be disappointing. Especially for somebody, not that this necessarily means shit, but for somebody who, like, the second after we got Soto, I come on here, like, the evil empire's back. Well, if the offseason just ends up being concluded with Marcus Stroman and Jordan Hicks, like, is the evil empire back? And that's kind of a semantics thing. Yo, I said, Justin, I love you. You're my boy. I take a bullet for you, Justin. You know that. Feo says, and if anyone gets injured, the options crawling back to Nestor or Clark are 10 times worse. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, Feo, are you just trying to tell me pretty much that this is my rotation this year? Is this what we're watching? Which has the potential to not be that bad. It can be very good. Big part of that's Carlos Rodon. Stroman I trust to be a solid number 3. Clark, I pretty much expect a repeat of what he was last year. Maybe a little bit better. Take out the terrible April, just what he was from May on. Like a nice 30 starts, 4 ERA, solid number 5. What are these two guys, though? Rodon and Nestor. I guess that's where my hesitancy is coming from. Rodon and Nestor, what are those two guys going to be? I'm holding out hope. I'm holding out hope they'll still get a starter, but realistically speaking, I mean, it's... May got to come to grips with that. This is it. Ben, thanks for the $2 donation. Appreciate you, bro. He says, do you think the Yankees could still sign Snell? That's kind of what we've been talking about this whole time. I'd like to think so. The more we actually talk about it and like plan it out, it doesn't sound all that realistic. But I don't know, man. It all just comes down to, if not, it all comes down to Cortez and especially Rodon bouncing back. Especially. Yeah. So, that's kind of where we're at. By the way, since we're here, and I'll probably wrap things up soon, next stream will probably... They're still going to be kind of sporadic in the offseason because of like work being pretty busy lately. But any big time move, I'll be on like that night for sure. So say we do like make a significant addition to the roster, I'll be going live that night. Feo also says, I'm trying to say that we took on a signing that is higher risk than his reward, and that worries me. Yeah, I mean, we haven't even... Well, Feo, I don't think Stroman, the pitcher, is something to be worried about all that much. I mean, you can look at the second half and say that's a cause for concern, sure. You can look at his Yankee Stadium stats, which is like I'll pull up the exact ones here, but they're not great. It's like an ERA, I think, lifetime of like 7. Let me pull it up real quick. Doesn't concern me all that much because, one, those Yankee teams that Stroman was facing in Yankee Stadium, a lot of that was against like the regular season 2018, 2019 New York Yankees, which regular season was a damn good team. And it's not like Stroman, like we have a concern about him being a fly ball pitcher that can't perform in Yankee Stadium. Like, no, this is one of the better ground ball pitchers in the league. I don't worry too much about his splits at Yankee Stadium, which, speaking of, let me get that real quick. I have it right here. So Stroman's career ERA at Yankee Stadium is, in 11 starts, 6.06. But once again, that doesn't concern me that much. And Stroman, the pitcher, I think we're in for 25 starts, hopefully 30, of a 3.5 ERA to a 4, sub 4. But how will he react the second shit goes wrong? The second he's booed off the mound, and I don't even mean that in a mean way, just like, his first start or second start, whatever, he goes 4 innings, 5 runs, gives up a go-ahead 2-run homer to Vlad Jr., gets booed off the mound. What is his post-game pressure going to be like? And I'm very curious, like, going into this, and Faye, we talked about this the other day on Twitter. There had to have been some conversations about what went down between Stroman and the Yankees. Because although it was kind of just him being butthurt and it was just, social media bullcrap, he really went at it with Yankee fans, and he legitimately has half of us blocked. He went at Brian Cashman. I guess, bygones be bygones, you just forget about it. But I really stand by what I said the other day on Twitter, that he's got to say something, man. I'm not saying he's got to, like, come out with the, Gettysburg Address or nothing, but, like, I think a quick little, like, yo, always wanted to be a Yankee. I just let it get to me. I'm really happy to be here. Something like that. Like, there's got to be a quick little statement is all I'm saying. That's what I'm looking for. And then the whole year, we'll be looking for, like, how much of a diva is this dude? Because I was talking to my boy Jolly Olive in the warehouse today. I was like, yo, because he's a Mets fan, obviously. And Stroman obviously was with the Mets in 21. And the end of 19. I asked Jolly, I was like, yo, is this just like a Yankee fan thing? Because I know we obviously have beef with them. That we have a lot of history with Stroman. But as a Mets fan, like, was there an issue with you guys? Like, was he an issue? And Jolly was like, oh, bro, he was fucking horrible. I don't know if this is an exact quote, but he pretty much said, like, I don't know if it was like divided the clubhouse or just, he was not well liked. And Mets fans, at least what I got from Jolly Olive, kind of had the same perception about him as Yankee fans do. So it's more than just, it sounds like bad blood between the organization and him. This dude really is just kind of a fucking punk. He is. And I wonder if the Yankees, who they're known for this, like the whole media training and all that, if they kind of said to him, like, yo, if you want to be here, you better fucking chill your act. And the dude is just plain old annoying. I mean, not even just about being worried about like the way he'll react to certain things. Like, I don't mind being blocked. That sounded like such like a loser thing to say. Like, oh, I don't care about being blocked. That's not what I'm saying. But more so like his social media presence is up there like top 5 most annoying athletes of all time. Let's see, but what else are you guys saying? What about a package including Torres, a couple of prospects, and Nestor in exchange for a top-tier arm? Yeah, man, Jason Ortiz, I respect the question, dude, but that just wouldn't get it done because if you're a team that has a top-tier arm that's looking to, get a good return for that top-tier arm, why would you take on just 1 year of Gleyber Torres before free agency? And I believe 1 year of Nestor, if not only 2, a pitcher coming off a shoulder injury, a down year where you regressed, a couple of if you want to get a top tier arm like Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns, it's going to take like Spencer Jones. Which for Burns I'd be fine with, but it just sucks, man. In general, and this is where I'll cut the Yankees a little bit of slack. Boy, did the pitching market just suck this year. I mean, even looking at Snell, who I want, but when was the last time a reigning Cy Young has such a small market? And the guys around him, I mean, it's like if you don't get Snell, you could overpay for Jordan Montgomery, who I like Jordan Montgomery. I think he's a nice number 3. A nice number 3 that's got to get paid as a really good number 2. Because Boris is his agent, I believe. He's definitely going to look to break Rodon's contract from last year, or at least match it right around $160 million. I think we all like Jordan Montgomery a lot, and we wish it ended better with the Yankees, sure. We can all probably agree he's now worth $160 million. So I don't blame the Yankees for going there. Snell, even though he's coming off a Cy Young, like there is some hesitancy around him. Corbin Burns, great pitcher. He's a rental, and the Brewers are in an NL Central, which is not very deep at all. Why would they trade him now? They can just at least see if they're going to contend, and then if not, hold on until the deadline and get probably just as much, if not more, when teams are desperate. Dylan Cease, Cy Young candidate a couple years ago, would love him. Down year this past season, 2 years of control left. Still got to give up as much prospect capital as if he's coming off that Cy Young year from 2 years ago. I could see maybe Shane Bieber, man. I could see if my most realistic other notable starting pitching name right now would be Shane Bieber. But I'm still hoping for Snell. but I just don't really think so. Let's see. Mikey YT says, do you think they spend a little on quality bullpen arm, and who would be your ideal pick? Yeah, talked about it a little before. I think Jordan Hicks will probably end up happening. The Evil Empire is in LA now. Gurvindar Parmar says. Fair, dude. Fair. Let's see. And what are your complete thoughts on the Stroman deal? Feo does bring up a salient point that this whole stream has been about that. But, we're probably going to get wrapped up here because I don't want these streams to be too long because you do got to live on the channel, at least this one in particular, as a individual video in itself. But all in all, I am pleased with the contract. I think 2 years, $37 million for Marcus Stroman, that's a solid deal. And I like him as a number 4 starter. The problem is, right now, is the Yankees number 3. So, to wrap up what my feelings are, if this is the move, and this kind of is the end of the offseason, if you will, along with even, say, Jordan Hicks, I'm not going to lie to you, even after this little, I don't want to call it a therapy session, but even after this, like it's still, I'm in a place where if they don't get Blake Snell, or at least like Shane Bieber, I'm going to be pretty disappointed with this. Now that can change if Rodon balls out, if Nestor balls out. I mean, at the minimum, you need one of those two, Rodon or Nestor, to be their 2022 self. I would cut off this sorry for my language, this pinky for that. This pinky, not this one, my left hand. I would cut off my left pinky to guarantee one of the two, Rodon or Nestor, And honestly, preferably Verdone, because that would change everything, to revert back to their 2022 self. You get that, we'll be able to deal. If not, and I'm not just saying if Verdone is the same as he was this past year, like 8 ERA Verdone, we can't even have 4 ERA Verdone. We need fucking Carlos Rodon. And then Nestor, if Nestor wants to be a 4 ERA pitcher, fine. Please give me 25 starts, though. I get worried about that. So, that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. Cross your fingers I don't get banned. Now, that was particularly about Yamamoto highlights, which, what a terrible deal I got. You know, I get banned off YouTube for running Yoshinobu Yamamoto highlights, which is total BS in its own right. But we didn't even get the guy. If we end up signing him, it's like, all right, word, at least it may have been kind of worth it. I ran Yoshinobu Yamamoto highlights and got banned off YouTube for a week. And then it was just like the holidays, and I was like, you know what, I'll just wait for the new year. And then I got food poisoning from Burger King, which is messed up because, like, after all we bet, like, I don't know if you guys know, for those who were watching those streams that I was doing about a month ago, we got pretty close, and I filled you guys in on how much I love Burger King. They did me dirty this past weekend. Projectile vomit. We don't gotta get into it, but yeah, we're back now. Big news will be on the stream. That's it for this one, though. Marcus Stroman is a New York Yankee. Hopefully there'll be another move soon, whether that's Jordan Hicks or Blake Snell. Who knows? I don't know, man. That'll do it, though. We will see you guys next time. Appreciate you all for hanging out, and I mean that sincerely. Like, it's dope to see all you guys back in here because I literally haven't done this in like a month. So this was cool. Good to be back, and hopefully going to be a lot more in the future. So see you guys next time. Let's go Yankees.